COSM is approaching the loading zone that we were talking about in yesterday's analysis, or 2 days ago, I believe. Let's go ahead and validate what could be happening for the following sessions, though. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. This is ARCa coming at you with a COSM technicals and raw price action thread of analysis on this happy Monday. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community and Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's dive right into the charts. Okay, so we're looking at COSM on the daily chart here, and we can actually see that our zones of support are still being respected very nicely. We actually came right back down to that 0618 at 522. Actually, the low of the candle here is showing that it was about let's see, it's actually going to be right here on the L. Okay, so we'll hover over the candle and it shows 525. So just upside of that 0618. Now the candle is still very bearish, right? No, I mean, no duh. But what I'm talking about is the fact that we have two consecutive candles like this that were followed by this shooting star candle on a daily iteration, right? So that usually signals a potential downside incoming, which is why I was saying that I wasn't too convinced over this right angle triangle. In fact, that this may actually turn into a falling wedge instead, per the last video analysis that we talked about. So let's continue on to the next chart so that we can see that area of support that I'm still eyeballing. Okay, so in the previous video, I did mention that actually this was in respects to the last upside that we had, right, to $23. So I took a measurement from this wick low to this wick high, and then I measured this wick high to this wick low. So this drop was actually what I was really looking at. Not really sure why I shared with you the measurement of this. I was just, this is just my brain on autopilot. But the measurement that actually did play out pretty nicely, is playing out, is actually this measurement here, which I placed right over here on that blue. Let's zoom in so I can show you. Okay. So this is that measurement here. So from the top side of our run, right, which we faced at $7.44 just a few days ago, I measured from there that same minus 35% that we faced from the previous run, right? So it's very curious that it's actually landing right at our support zone from the gap that we're noticing on the daily. It's landing right down here. And the other curious thing is that I'm still not as convinced just yet, but using this support of this channel could very well validate the channel itself. Okay, I'm still not convinced over this channel, but it's interesting that the iteration is actually suggesting for us to touch the lower end of this gap here at about $4.76. We were touching that 476 so many times before, so it's a very confluent target, or there's a lot of correlation within that target. Okay, so that's why I have my bottom support at the 2.618 of 451 to about 474. That's still essentially what I'm looking for. Okay, and we're now officially in that path. Okay, so let's continue validating that downside thesis. Okay, so you guys know very well that I do not like tiny little pivots like these right here, right? So we'll go ahead and just touch on the fact that we do have a tiny little pivot here on the 30-minute immediate short term, which could, remember, this plays out really fast. It's just a 30 minutes. So this can actually find resistance fairly quickly from the 14-day simple moving average moving down to this area here. So we'll face resistance from not only that 14-day simple, but also from the gravitational zone of the bear strength percentile, which would essentially guide us towards the way down once again. Now, a very similar thing here on the bi-hourly as well. Okay, so it's a very weak notch right here. So there's not enough bull strength in the immediate short term. So this can very well face some resistance if it does move up, which I don't think is the case. Actually, this may actually just correct to the downside soon. So, but if it did move up a little bit higher, we'll be facing the gravitational zone and the 14-day simple moving average yet again. The 6-hour time frame is showing this little tiny notch again, but look at what these little notches can do, right? They can fail. So the reason why I'm not trusting this notch, although it's still pivoted a little bit towards the upside, is for the simple fact that we're in the gravitational zone of the bear weakness percentile, suggesting a pull into the bear strength percentile. Okay, so now the daily time frame is actually kind of validating that downside. It is it is now just, I mean, I'm talking about just outside of the gravitational pull, which would have been that saving grace. But still, that 14-day simple moving average is above us, so we would have faced two forms of resistance, just like these would have, right? So from the 14-day simple above us, and also from the gravitational zone. The 3-day suggesting a limited downside, and so is the 5-day. Okay, so the fact that we have such a limited downside here, so this would be support in an inverse manner from these timeframes here. So in this case, RSI signal continues to the downside, finds support from the gravitational pull and the 14-day simple, thus continuing this path. I'm sorry, but just like this, right? So bouncing to the upside. Okay, so this is still looking pretty good. COSM is still looking pretty healthy. Okay, so the pullback is absolutely something that I'm seeing as temporary. I am not seeing this as a reversal whatsoever. So just in case, if you need to know that, okay? So we will. The most obvious thing that could happen after touching down on this target here would essentially be coming back to test the 1.618. Right, so and then kind of consolidate within this area before continuing on to the upside. But we would need to validate after we touch this downside here first. Okay, so I just want to make sure that everybody is kind of on the same page here, that we are just going to be facing a potential loading zone right down here before a pretty nice bounce. Okay, you guys, so know that I'm not a financial advisor. Take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy or sell any assets whatsoever. Okay, you guys, I need you to do your own due diligence and everything will be just fine. Okay, please refer to the links in the description below if you wish to reach out to me on Twitter or join the Discord trading community, ARCa Bulls. Okay, you guys, and but with that said, I wish you well, a very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.